welcome back to another episode of The Supernaturals. I'm Jake. That's Cal. We got our coffee this morning.
Pumpkin spice?
It's still Halloween season, baby. Cal loves his pumpkin spice.
Yeah, if you know me, you know I fucking absolutely love pumpkin spice.
You just love pumpkin anything.
Yeah, I make pumpkin cookies. I make pumpkin waffles. I make pumpkin bread. I made once. That was killer. I'd like to do that again.
Give you cookie.
Buy you cookie, got you cookie. Buy you cookie, got you cookie.
I know. You made cookies the other day, and you're like, eat a cookie.
Yeah, because
I don't like sweets, though.
Yeah, but they're good, though.
I don't doubt that.
Dude, I'm not a fan of sweets either unless it's pumpkin spice. Like a birthday cake? Hell no, I'll stay away from that. Donuts, not really a fan. Cookies. I mean, I'll have a cookie every once in a while. White macadamia nut. It's a good cookie.
Oatmeal raisin's a good cookie.
Are you serious? Oatmeal raisin?
Yo, Cal, I'm dead flipping ass.
Oatmeal raisin? I respect it because I don't think I've ever heard somebody actually say, "Oh yeah, give me the oatmeal cookie." Like everybody's always like, "Oh yeah, chocolate chip or whatever," and then
oatmeal
you get the oatmeal ones.
We're gonna put a poll out for this and be like, "What is your favorite cookie?"
Yeah, am I tripping or do people actually like the oatmeal raisin cookies? I mean, I don't mind them. I'm just saying like they're not my first choice.
That's
so
fair.
You to say like oatmeal raisin, wow, I'm like, it's a shock, you know?
Yeah,
it's crazy. We got Jake in this, or not Jake. We got Jake's
I'm in
dog.
the studio.
We got Soul in the studio today.
He is mad chilling.
Man's just passed out, so that's cool. But
did we bring him to the fun games? Do I do that again?
The
or
what?
Do I leave him here?
Oh, the Sunday Fun Day.
Yeah,
probably bring him.
Yeah, no Soli.
If you guys are football fans like Jake and I, we do a watch party every Sunday. With a bunch of people.
Let's go for the teams.
We got like 8 TVs set up and stuff, and we got like a whiteboard for bets and stuff. It's so fun.
We take that shit seriously.
We do take it seriously. Yeah,
I mean,
a little bit of a dry spell this year. My fins aren't doing too hot, but
we were. However, last year we were like making some money.
I know. Yeah, we were making so much money. Anyway, yeah,
well,
so
as you can tell, the studio hasn't changed much.
Yeah, happy. This was
Halloween month.
Second week of Halloween.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Still Halloween month, baby.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some cool shit today, boys.
And girls.
Ghosts.
And ghouls.
There you go. Yeah, got my
the
Venom
dead.
mug. What?
And the living.
Oh, I didn't know where that one was going.
Well, yeah. I mean, Halloween, it's just such a celebrated holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, will dress up, go door to door, ringing bells, getting candy.
Getting that candy.
Hopefully candy. We did have some crazy shit happen where people were not giving out candy, or they were spiking the candy with like drugs. That was a crazy time.
Oh, yeah.
Where parents had to like almost check every single piece of candy.
Yeah.
Because like some would have been tampered with.
Well, we go through something like that today.
But to my point, it's crazy shit happens.
Yeah.
Like people are wild on Halloween.
Yeah.
You celebrate the spooky and the horrorness of it, right?
Yeah.
But like, let me ask this. Does bad shit happen on Halloween?
Well, Jake, I have an answer for you. Yes, it absolutely fucking does. Now, while I don't think there's, a Michael Myers running around stabbing a bunch of people, there's definitely some crazy shit that happens. And it's interesting because a lot of the times, decorations they've evolved so much that you see things like a body hanging and you don't even think twice about it.
You're hoping it's a prop.
Well, I don't even think there's a hope. I think you just drive by
just
and you
assume?
go, oh, cool decoration. And then you just move on. Like decorations have gotten so realistic that
is true.
Dude, yeah, if I saw like somebody's arm, but it was like Halloween season, I'd be like, damn, that's a legit looking arm. And I'd like move on, like go about my day.
It kind of, we go back to last episode when we talked about whether or not things are real and fake when you're in a haunted house. Watch your head.
Sorry, I know. Checking.
I turned it.
No, I know. All right, continue.
Where was I with that thought?
So you went back to last episode.
Oh yeah, where you don't know if things are real or fake because it just looks so more realistic nowadays, right?
Yeah, the one story about the principal who accidentally hung himself in the haunted house for all those kids, and
they didn't know.
They had no idea. They thought he was, just fucking around,
playing a trick.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's an unfortunate thing. But this one is like today's episode. We're going to talk about real life shit, incidences, dating back from 1938 to 2014 or something. I just dove through, found a bunch of crazy ass things, and well,
here we are.
We're going to talk about them.
Because some of them shit happens.
Some of them you may know, some of them you might not know, but one thing is for certain: there's some spooky shit that goes on Halloween. So we're gonna talk about that. So
cool. Which is, you just don't expect that.
No, you don't.
Right?
Well, no, you don't.
Most people don't expect that.
Yeah,
it's
that's
more
what I'm
a
saying,
celebration, and then
yeah,
bad shit happens. And it taints the holiday.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll talk about it in the next episode. Our next episode is going to be about Halloween rituals and kind of the origins of Halloween. So, and kind of how it migrated or evolved into what it is today, where we kind of celebrate like spooky ass shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's always been like a spooky holiday, but it hasn't ever been like, it wasn't for a long time kind of about, serial killers like Michael Myers and Jason and shit,
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's all this horror around the holiday, but I mean, in my experience in life, I've always thought of it as like one of the more happy times of my life.
Well, yeah, it's like our favorite holiday.
Well, I mean, yes, to that point too. But I mean, I personally haven't had anything bad. More good than bad, really.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that when I'm thinking Halloween.
I definitely had a bad thing happen on Halloween 2 years ago when we threw that party and I made that jungle juice and then I died like an hour into the party.
Shit was strong.
Yeah, and then the last party I made a jungle juice and I did not drink like a cup. I didn't have any of it. I was like, I'm gonna stay away from that shit.
I mean, jungle juice is dangerous.
I make some pretty good jungle juice though. Like it's usually always good. It's always themed on brand with the party. I made
our party this year is going to be so sweet.
Yeah. I made for like St. Patrick's Day, we had like a green apple one with like gold coins in the top. That one was fun.
Our St. Patrick's Day party was so cool.
Yeah, it was fun. We're doing that again.
Who knew beads were so popular?
We literally, we I had this really cool idea. We have a pong table and I had this really cool idea to take some beads, like the little like fake beads and hang them up one by one on the wall by like a piece of tape. And if you won a game in Pong, you would get a thing of beads. And then eventually the beads they ran out, but it was kind of fun because you'd look around and you'd see people with like more beads than others and you could challenge them for their beads. And at the end of the night, your brother-in-law, Aaron, dude, he had like a stack of beads. Like he had everybody's beads. It was so funny.
I had 2.
Yeah. I think I had 2, but I lost one of them.
Yeah.
I remember just having the one and I was like, damn, this is sad as shit. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
That was a good one. But
there's some good parties. Now a themed party this year, which is cool.
Yeah, we're doing a themed party. We're hoping our parties get pretty big at some point. The Supernaturals are going to throw parties every year, so
it's true. This is the first of many.
This is the first one. Yeah, if you follow our socials and stuff, we'll probably just post a little thing about it. But eventually, we'll be throwing stuff in like warehouses and shit.
Yeah,
we'll get like party planners to like design stuff. Yeah, we got big ambitions.
It's true. It's true. We do.
Yeah,
but enough about our fun.
my fun. I love my fun.
Whoa.
We just saw Suki Waterhouse last night. And
God, she's
so
amazing.
Goddess. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry. A little off track here. But the point is, yeah, if you like Suki, you know, cheers to that, my brother.
And if you don't, look her up. Great stuff comes from her.
Yeah. She's fantastic.
Her music's good. Her acting's great.
Her modeling is great. It's almost like that song.
Whatever.
Damn. I hope somebody is like, they're a Suki fan and they're just like, that was a good setup.
Yeah. Let's dive into this.
All right. So, first one that we have here is in 1938. Now, imagine a world with no internet, no televisions, no social media, which, to be honest, sounds kind of...
That's a world I do want to live in. Remember when that commercial came on and I was like, you know, if everyone's phones just flew away,
probably wouldn't be a bad thing.
It would be so great for the world.
I know.
You wouldn't be able to watch us or listen to us.
Yeah, but we'd figure it out.
We'd become on the radio.
Yeah, something like that. That'd be so cool. So anyway, imagine a world like that. You'd sit down after a long day of work with your family and tune the radio to your local station and enjoy the sounds of people's voices rather than watching with your eyes.
93.3.
38. You said 1933.
You said the radio. I said, 93.3.
Oh, 93.3. I heard 1933. I was like, no, it's 1938. But yeah, 93.3. Shout out Nerf. Anyway, it's like kind of what they're doing with us right now, though. They're listening to us. Mm-hmm. Could be watching, but either way, imagine you're doing that. Anyway, you imagine that you're in this world. The following day is Halloween. Autumn chill fills the air. The quiet mist surrounds you, and all that you have for lighting in this dim part of night is a small crackling fire in the fireplace next to you.
Why do you make this sound so good?
Because I'm a writer, dude.
I know.
Buy my books. You are finally settling in. You and 12 million other people tune into the same CBS radio broadcast. Suddenly, you hear a man's voice, shouting and haunting. The words strike fear in your heart. Martians have invaded New Jersey. Your first reaction is to stand up, fear pulsing through your veins. You sprint outside your home and look into the black sheet of night, but your eyes mean nothing but the midnight. Oh, Jesus Christ. But your eyes mean nothing but the midnight sun and its fellow sparkles of starlight. Well, that is what happened to a shit ton of people that night after misunderstanding a reading of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds as legit news. While the story isn't violent, the thought of this happening during that time was probably so freaky that I can understand why so many people were scared.
So a lot of people tuned in to a reading.
Yeah.
And took it as news.
Some of them just tuned in and they heard like Martians are invading New York and they were like, oh shit. Run outside. Fuck, what's going on?
I mean, how are you supposed to know when you tune in right there? You don't know that he said it was a read, right? You have no idea.
I know. It was just kind of funny because
fake news is everywhere.
I actually learned about that stuff. It's a pretty common story, especially if you're going into the like mass communication field. I learned about that in college a few times, actually, in a few different classes.
They just present it to you?
Yeah, they just talk about how like the beginning of like radio and stuff and how it can and has influence on people. So it's
well, I mean, a lot of outlets have influence on people.
Well, we know that now.
Well, yeah,
more than ever.
Well, true. And I kind of want to bring up. Yeah. I kind of want to bring up a point of, you know, a lot of people don't get their news from actual news anymore.
Yeah.
Right. They get it from social media
or some shit. Somebody can just come up with something and
it could be completely bullshit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, be careful where you get your news. Don't just like read stuff and be like, "Oh yeah, this is it," and then
definitely double, triple check that.
Yeah,
right. Because you see one thing, you'd be like, "That sounds a little weird."
Yeah, I will say you can find the actual news like somewhere. Like you can find like evidence, you know, in like videos and things like that. Like there's police reports for fucking everything. Like,
Well, I
public
mean, there
record.
has to be.
Yeah, it's public record.
Yeah.
So
You can't just call the police and they can't file a report,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty wild shit. But anyway,
That's crazy.
pretty wild, isn't it? I mean,
What would you do in that situation? Would you probably do the same thing if you tuned in?
well, I've definitely
outside
seen
and be
some
like, "What the
UFOs. So for me, I sit there and I just look at it and I like get a tear in my eye because it's like just so sick. I'm like, dude, come down here. Like, I want to be homies. Like,
I I can't wait for our
for them to come down here and say what's up. I know, me too.
no our special when we talk about that one story about UFOs because
Oh yeah,
UFOs
our
are
season
just-
2 opener.
no our Reddit last live
Oh
episode.
yeah,
We talk about that and then we go into season 2, which is cool.
Yeah,
But
our season 2
I
opener.
want to have more people on this podcast that actually have experienced UFOs
Yeah, we can try that.
because I find it really cool. Now, I haven't seen it myself. I've only seen a couple videos.
It's fucking wild, dude.
But I want to see it because I'd just be like, oh shit. All of a sudden, it's just like phew, across the sky, and you're like,
well,
what the fuck?
yeah, man, it's some wild shit for sure. When you see it and you're like, that's not a plane, and then you're like, that's not a drone, and then you see it do some crazy shit that like nothing else would do, and you're just like, what the fuck am I looking at?
What's the feeling you get when witnessing that though?
I
Try to explain that to our viewers.
Maybe
Maybe you haven't seen it either.
You look at it and well, again, I have this like insane sense of wonder. Like when I see, well, I told you when I saw, I have a big telescope and I was able to see Saturn one night with the rings. And that was such an incredible thing because you usually just see the pictures of it and, you're
just a
seeing
speck
it with
on the lens.
a speck on the lens. No, when you see it though, with your own eyes, it's like an amazing feel. I mean, it makes you feel so small, but so special at the same time. Cause you're just like, there's this giant world and we're here. Like we could be not even exist. Like the stuff that had to be right for you to be here, like for humans to be here is insane.
Crazy, yeah.
So it does make you feel like if you have this sense of wonder in you, you look up at the stars and stuff and are just like, damn, that's crazy. If you see a UFO, you kind of think the same thing because it kind of makes you feel like, okay, if that is an alien, like you feel not as special because you're like, damn, there's other things. I mean, I'm a full believer in aliens, so I believe there's other things out there. But seeing it again is also,
I mean, space is so big.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that feeling may be replicated when an astronaut looks down at the Earth from space.
I would imagine.
Right?
Yeah.
That feeling of like, wow, we are just such a small, like, crazy species just on this planet. Mm-hmm. That'd be such a cool feeling, but also like,
well, I think
how do you not feel just like worthless at that moment though either? Because you're like, you're just one thing.
I think it also is pretty interesting though how we've discovered so many different planets and we only have, I know it's always this room.
I know. Stuffy in here.
We only have like, I don't know what, maybe like 1 or 2 other planets that are maybe going to support life. You know what I mean? So,
well, that we know of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
then you have to think and you're like, now we're kind of tangenting a bit, but you think about it and space is so big, there has to be something else like Earth.
Of course. I'm so excited. If you guys are into the aliens and stuff, I'm so excited to.
Oh man, it's gonna be a fun one.
Our season 2 premiere. If you don't know, we're driving down to Roswell, New Mexico, and we're gonna talk about that whole thing because that's a pretty big deal in the.
Gonna eat some UFO meals at McDonald's.
Everything is freaking UFO themed down there. It's so cool. So, yeah,
that's crazy. I'm
excited for that one.
That story. Be wary of fake news is the takeaway, I think.
Yeah, I guess. And then, aliens, we'll see you guys soon. Like, we'll be talking about it. Roswell, catch you in a little bit. Wonder if we have any viewers in Roswell.
Let us know.
That's cool. I know we have a few in New Mexico, but I don't know about don't know if any ever Roswell. I hope so. That'd be cool. See you soon. All right. So the next one, this is kind of, where we start getting into the like really Halloween shit. So 1957, Halloween night, Los Angeles. Peter Fabiano and his wife Betty had given all their candy to trick-or-treaters and decided to head to bed. The two said goodnight to one another, then closed their eyes. But there was a knock at the door. Peter grunted as he got to his feet, quietly mumbling about more trick-or-treaters. He got to the door and opened it. Before him was a woman, too far tall to be a child. The woman said nothing behind a mask. She raised her hand, which was covered by a plastic bag, or a paper bag, and pulled the trigger. Peter was shot in the chest and died on the spot. But the story gets deeper. The woman behind the mask's name was Goldine Pizer. She was hired by another woman named Joan, Rabel. After an investigation, it was discovered that Joan had a sexual affair with Peter's wife, Betty. Pizer was sentenced to 5 years in prison, and Joan was charged with second-degree murder. But Betty was never tried.
This poor man.
I know.
He has no idea what's going on. He thinks he's just answering the door for a couple trick-or-treaters. And
obviously, we don't know the full story between the whole thing. But again, to me, if you cheat, you're a piece of shit. So...
Well said. Well said.
And then you're gonna cheat and then hire somebody to kill like the dude you've been cheating on. The fuck?
It's crazy.
Kind of bullshit.
It's crazy. That's what a wild story. I also find it so interesting that Betty was never tried. Never.
Yeah, they investigated her.
They did.
They didn't.
There
find
was
anything.
just no reason.
They think that it was Joan, the lady that she was sleeping with.
Mm-hmm.
They think that it was like a crime of passion. So she basically just
so
wanted
Betty had no idea.
Yeah, that's what the belief is. So
interesting. I mean,
crimes of passion, man. Love is a crazy thing.
It'll make you do some wild shit.
Yeah. That one's just, it's crazy because she showed up in a Halloween mask.
I know. Yeah, poor guy just opens his door and that is the end of his life.
Yeah, it's that's a good warning. Always keep your head on a swivel.
We always say that.
Yeah,
all the time.
And make sure that you kind of check out who the fuck is coming to your door.
Peek out that window. Make sure there's a couple kids.
I'll tell you one thing. If you guys want to get spooked, like super spooked, like after this or something, after you guys listen to us, go check out the compilations of like Ring doorbells that have like gone wrong. Ugh. Because there are some freaky ass Ring doorbell cameras out there.
Some weird people.
Yeah, people are weird. I mean, people are weird. That's for sure. People are weird.
That reminds me.
Some in a good way, some in a bad way.
Of the guy last night.
I was just going to say that, dude, last night. We were coming back from the concert, and these two guys were like street racing, and then they were like flipping each other off and stuff. And one of them almost hit the median. Another one almost like drove into somebody. And we're just sitting there.
Bad.
We're like, bro, you're going to kill somebody. Like, it's just not worth it. Like, road rage. It's like, it's not worth it. Just honk and be like, you done, bitch. And then just like move on.
Yeah, but some people, they get really mad.
I know.
And it's scary because you have no idea what they're going to do.
It's true. Yeah.
So like you have to be on the defensive and keep that head on a swivel and make sure that, I personally don't have crazy road rage. I might get pissed if someone cuts me off because like, don't do dumb shit.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna chase them and tailgate them the whole way. That's just petty.
Mistakes happen, dude. Yeah. Like you could fuck up on the road and like, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous to fuck up on the road. So like
you're driving a car, like it's a dangerous thing.
Yeah. But also like people are allowed to make mistakes. It's like you can make a mistake and then just be like, hey, get your head out of your ass. And then it's just like, okay, that's it.
You just hope that mistake isn't like, if you get cut off, that's one thing. But if you like get sideswiped or freaking like hit off the road, that's a little different than a mistake.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a mistake gone wrong right there. Yeah. What I'm saying is like, if you get to the point where you get so angry that you're going to chase somebody down and like ride their ass and honk at them and stuff, you're increasing your chances of like a car accident by like a lot.
Oh, I know. And it's like the one story with my brother getting chased into a parking lot.
Fucking gas station.
Literally, Josh accidentally, might have gotten in front of him a little early or something, pissed him off.
Dude, whatever.
But he was trying to get to the gas station. Pulls in. The dude follows him, gets out of his car, and starts yelling at him.
Cops outside. They're coming for you, Josh.
But it's just like, what makes a person do that and think they just are going to get out of the car and try to beat you up?
I know. It's fucking weird, dude.
Like, what if, I mean, Josh wouldn't have a gun, but like, what if the person that dude came out and was like, came to the window and the dude was just like, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Points a gun at him.
Well,
what's that dude going to do?
Also, imagine if you're like road raging. Imagine like pulling a gun on a dude just because he cut you off.
It's
Like,
crazy. It's just crazy.
fucking dumbass. Sorry, but like, no, I'm not sorry. What the fuck? No, don't pull a gun on somebody for just doing a fucking little mistake. Like,
it's wild.
oh, I have a gun. I'm so hard. Like, you're not, bro. Fuck, man.
You're not.
Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Big key takeaway out of this one. Keep that head on a swivel.
Yeah. Look at who the fuck is coming to your house.
But hopefully you're not put in the situation of like your partner cheating on you, right?
Yeah. That's a big fear of mine. I've been through a few relationships, but I've never had that, so I'm appreciating that.
I mean, me either, but you know,
Definitely meet some crazy girls, but they're usually like territorial of like me, right? So I should say, I think I'm okay on that
just
department.
checking your location every 10 seconds.
It's true. No, that's but
Would you rather have someone check your location every 10 seconds
or cheat on you?
Yeah.
Definitely they check location every 10 seconds. All right. So the next one, 1963. Imagine it's crisp Halloween night and your local town is putting on an event for the holiday.
I'm trying to imagine that.
The event is an ice skating show that celebrates the holiday. People have come from far and wide to see the talented people in costumes doing insane dances and tricks on the ice rink. A little after 11 p.m., the show is coming to an end. The dancers were performing the finale of their routine. But while everyone was watching in awe of the talent that was occurring before their very eyes, nobody had noticed a small gas leak coming from a nearby concession stand. Suddenly, a massive explosion collapsed the rink itself and sent debris flying. 74 people were killed and 400 were injured, some really badly. A reporter at the scene, Richard Roberts, walked through the crater and looked at the bodies and debris. He said in his article, quote, "This is the worst thing I have seen since combat in World War II," end quote.
Holy cow.
Yeah, fucking wild.
That must have been a big explosion. Jeez,
Yeah, dude.
Louise.
Yeah.
Like, you said killed 74 and injured over 400.
Injured over 400 people.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine you're just going to the show. Like, you just never know
Well, I wonder
when
if
your
there's-
life is going to end.
I think the big takeaway of this one is if you smell gas,
Report it and
Report
get
that
the
shit.
hell away.
I just wish there was a way that could, because like a gas leak is so crazy. You could just blow up at like any second.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, that's kind of a fear of mine. Is I'll just be sitting there playing like Fortnite or some shit, and then all of a
Smell
sudden
something
you
a little weird.
just blow up. Like before you know it, you're just boom, done. That's it. Just randomly.
You
It's
never-
like not your fault. It's not, it's just, it happened. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, gas leaks are really scary.
They are.
Although, what's the gas that smells like rotten eggs? So you'd be able to, is that carbon monoxide?
Yeah. And that one, it makes you loopy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's like,
you got to be aware of like,
if you
be-
smell
be in-
gas, report
be
that.
kind of intelligent on like what you should be aware of
Yeah.
gases.
Yeah.
Because especially when you own a home, you don't want your house blowing up.
No. And I do remember there was one time I came upstairs and I walked into my room and I was like, it's gas. I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God, it's gas. So then I told everybody. And I mean, we didn't do anything, but the gas, like, it was done. I don't know what it was, but it was weird. I don't know what it could have been, but it was weird. So,
Like in this house?
yeah, like in this house. It was like a year ago.
I don't remember that, but
Yeah. So, still here. So I think it's all right. But
well, you do have to be careful because, gas lines run throughout this house. So it blew up the whole thing.
Oh, I
Plus,
know.
like,
Yeah.
probably blow up neighbors' houses, or at least some of them.
yeah,
It could be really bad.
it
Like,
could be horrible. Yeah. I know.
And unfortunate that all these people attending this event like lost their lives just due to this gas explosion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is just like you're going and enjoying a nice, Halloween on ice kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, it's over.
Oh yeah. It's
like an artillery thing like went off,
Well, when flying debris coming at you, dude, that can
kill you there.
you so badly. Right? You could get hit in the face, the neck, arteries,
Yeah.
There's a huge artery in your neck.
Oh, I know.
Bleed out so fast.
That's the one in the movies where
yeah.
Yeah, that shit.
It's really unfortunate, and you never know when your life's gonna end. So
yeah,
for me, I always try to live it up the best I can, because when that day comes, you want to be content.
Yeah.
And think you've done what you've needed to do. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I know other people feel that way, but
no, I agree with what you're saying. I definitely want that same feeling. However, I feel like I'm not even close to that yet. I feel like I do things that I want to do, right? Mm-hmm. But I still haven't traveled the world. I still haven't,
I
haven't done all of that.
There's a lot more.
Really, the main thing that I want is to see the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. If I see the Dolphins win a Super Bowl in my lifetime, I can die a happy man.
It's a cool feeling.
That's it. All right. I won a Super Bowl and you didn't.
Actually, 2.
Yeah, in your lifetime too.
Yeah, I know.
I had the perfect season, but I just had to, watch documentaries on it. So.
I know. That would have been a cool thing to witness.
Right?
Right?
I know, dude. I know. Yeah. So,
but live your life. Live it as it's your last.
Yeah. Takeaway is if you smell gas, report that shit
and get the fuck away.
Yeah, get away. Yeah, because we don't need you guys. We
don't need you blowing up.
And then now the other thing is, live your life. Kings and queens, ghosts and ghouls. I don't have another one. All right, so the next one, 1974. I don't know why I just thought about. Is it 1974 in Neighbors when they're going through all the different frat things, and he's like 1974. You know what I'm saying?
When they're talking about the pictures,
yeah,
like he's like,
or is it 1975?
I don't know what the
75.
That's when Pete's talking about all the greats of the house.
He's like, oh, the boot and rally and all that. Yeah.
I don't remember what he says, but I do remember that scene.
As soon as I read 1974, that popped into my head. I don't know why. Anyway,
Sully's having a dream.
Yeah, man.
No bad dreams here.
Yeah, that man needs to chill out, because otherwise, in the thing, we're just gonna hear like. Anyway, so 1974. A big part of Halloween is the idea of trick or treat. We focus on the treat part a little bit. We all know that Halloween brings in a lot of candy. While the single adult part of Halloween is dressing hot and going to clubs and parties, etc. Hell yeah. The children version obviously deals with you dressing as your favorite superhero or transformer and going with your parents door to door throughout your neighborhood.
You're just so like nonchalant, dressing hot. Hell yeah. It's just really funny.
Tell me that's not. Jesus, soul.
Over the years, women wear less and less clothing on Halloween. That is a fact.
Yeah, it is facts. Well, so basically the, kids, they would go from door to door dressing up. Well, that's exactly what Timothy O'Brien did. It was Halloween night, as per usual, for him and his parents. And, there are always warnings about checking your child's candy. It has been known that, some creeps put razor blades in the candy. I also read that others have put condoms and other weird shit, like sexual stuff, inside like kids' candy buckets. Fucking gross.
Weird.
Yep. But something
Stay safe, kids.
Yeah, but something that isn't talked about enough is what happened to poor Timmy. He went back home after a successful Halloween and began eating his plunders. He actually ate a pixie stick, but began feeling really sick. Unfortunately, the candy Timothy ate was poisoned, and he died a short time later. But the death of Timothy is not even the worst part. The worst part was who did it. After an investigation, police discovered that Timothy's dad had recently taken out a life insurance policy on his son, and he poisoned Timothy to cash in on the money.
Whoa. What the?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Piece of shit.
Dude.
That's
Trust
so wild.
fucking no one.
I guess, man. That's so wild.
Trust is such a hard thing.
It is. That's why I kind of hate people. no offense. But yeah,
clipped.
it's kind of true though, dude. You know how many times like I've worn my heart on my sleeve and I've like said shit to people, and then all of a sudden they fucking stab you in the back, man. Like people don't give a shit about anybody but themselves. Like that fucking sucks.
It's so true. And you work so hard to build all this trust, right?
100%.
And then it can be gone like that.
Believe me, I know.
Like in an instant, all trust is lost, and you just can't trust anybody anymore.
Yeah, it's
crazy because you work so hard to build it.
I know,
and it's gone in seconds.
I think people have a really big problem with honesty. I really do. I think it's
it's easier to lie.
I know, but that's then it causes problems later. I think if you just 100%
causes problems later.
I think if you're just honest, then you can work on shit. You can come up with shit. You can you can have a solution to the problem.
My mom always said, always be honest because the truth hurts, but lies hurt more.
So I mean, it's facts, dude. Yeah.
So take that.
Yeah. If you're, tripping about something, you got like a secret or something, but like your partner or something, they just like fucking tell them. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, it's better.
Gonna be better for you in the long haul.
Yeah, if they find out, then all of a sudden it's dude, it's crushing, man. Like when you give a part of yourself to somebody and they take it and fucking, break it, and it's fucking rough. And unfortunately here for Timothy, the person that you're supposed to trust the most, your dad, fucking killed him for some money.
You, and now
wait, the dad was in debt, I know that, but still figure something else out. You don't have to fucking kill your child.
There's so many other ways
literally
to get around that without killing anybody.
What do you always tell me when I'm always tripping about money? Because I'm kind of stingy, but whenever when I'm tripping about money, you're like, money always comes back.
No matter what.
No matter what, money comes back. If you just keep working, like that money will come back. But the experiences that you can use with this money, that's something that can stay with you forever.
That's where it's worth, right?
Yeah.
That's where the majority of your money should go.
Well, shit. I mean, we went and saw Stick Figure reggae.
God, such a good concert.
What our tickets at Red Rocks was like $150 or something, and I had never spent that much money on a concert before. I'm kind of new to the concert scene. I'm enjoying what I'm doing now, but
to be fair though, concert tickets have skyrocketed.
I wouldn't know, but yeah, I'm gonna take your word for it.
I used to go to concerts for like $20-$30. Now it's like $70.
Yeah.
To go to a show.
Yeah. Well, but
plus fees. But
the fees are what get you right there. It adds like $25. Anyway, so the Stick Figure concert though, I remember, I love Stick Figure. I mean, if you guys don't know Stick Figure, and you kind of like the reggae surf rock kind of stuff, then check him out or whatever.
He's got a unique voice.
Yeah, he's good. But anyway, I was, kind of thinking, do I really want to go to this concert? Do I really not? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm really that big into concerts, because I'm not like that big into concerts. And then I saw it, and it was probably like one of the most life-changing experiences. They have this song called World on Fire, and they played it for the encore, and there was pyro going off, but we had smoke from a fire during that show. So this big ass moon was coming up behind the stage, and it was all red. It was like blood red while they were singing World on Fire. That was like, when I sat there and was just looking at that, I was like, this is an experience.
To be fair here, this was Cal's first Red Rocks show also. And if you haven't been to Red Rocks, you fucking need to go to Red Rocks.
So cool.
It's a great venue.
It's so
and
cool.
we take it for granted because it's in our backyard.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like I've been there so many times and, you know, people fly out from everywhere to come see it. It's just,
no, it's cool.
It's crazy. I personally like love to live my life through experiences, not assets.
Yeah.
And depending on how you live, sure. But, you know, some people like assets and
yeah,
what are you going to do with that asset? Like nothing. It just sits there. I mean, you can use it potentially a few times, like a boat or something, you know, and that's fun. But I don't know, going to things and experiencing cool stuff.
Yeah.
Is just so much more like memorable and like fun to me.
I mean, I agree because I don't mean to call anybody out, but I mean, we definitely have
live your life how you need to live.
We also definitely have a couple of friends who prefer material things over experiences, and it's a bummer for us because we prefer experiences over material things. So it's kind of a whack thing. But my point, the whole point of this whole fucking tangent is, you know, money comes back, and you know,
it does.
You don't need
you're working.
You don't need to kill your kid for fucking money. Like that's
no, because now your kid dies, right?
Yeah, and
you're
he doesn't come
investigated.
back.
You're investigated. It's found to be
didn't
you
work out
anyway.
Yeah.
So you're going to jail now.
Fucking idiot.
Your spouse or partner or whatever is put in a terrible situation, lost their kid, loses you.
Yeah.
It's so like selfish.
100%. Yeah.
So selfish.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what like
we have the responsibility of a parent, like as a parent, to look out for your kid because they can't
fend for themselves at that age.
They can't. So
you have to teach them the ways.
Yeah, you have to teach your kid how to survive in the world. That's the point. That's the opportunity of having a kid. And so if you can't do that, then don't have a kid. And if this guy was, you know, like he needed to know how expensive having a kid was, and if he couldn't, you know, there's other options. There's adoption. There's things like that. But fucking killing your kid is
or
like the
work
last
two
thing
jobs.
you should do.
Like just make it work for a sec.
Yeah.
Talk to your partner about like what you can do.
Yeah.
Maybe you need a career change. Maybe you go back to school. Like there's so many more avenues than
take out a loan.
Than doing
like
that to your child. That's just so selfish.
Granted,
and
nowadays
so
we do have more like financial aid options as opposed to back in what was it, 1974. So
it's true. It's true. Times have changed.
Yeah.
However, don't kill your child.
Yeah.
Come on. That's so fucked.
That's fucked up. All right, moving on. So this one, a year later, 1975. 15-year-old Martha Moxley went to a Halloween party in Connecticut. However, the next day was one of nightmares. Martha was found beaten to death in the backyard of the house. The murder weapon was a golf club. The investigation was open for a long time, 25 years in fact, until police finally arrested and committed Michael Skakel for the murder. He was 15 at the time of the murder. He maintained his innocence throughout the whole trial, but was also sentenced to 20 years in prison. That is until May 4th, 2018, when the Connecticut Supreme Court let Michael go and the case was reopened to the public. First off, I gotta say, if Michael truly didn't do it, then how shitty of a situation like that must have been for him.
Wrongly convicted.
You go to a party, 25 years later, the police show up at your door and they're like, hey, yo, you're coming with us. And then you get let out because, you know, it's like our bad, like, you know,
but how many years was he in there?
Well, he was sentenced for 20. I don't know how to do the math here. It was 25 years after the fact. So 25 plus 15.
40.
What's 25 plus 75? Like the 75.
25 plus 75
yeah,
is going to be
1975.
So 2000.
God, yeah, that was so easy. So 2000.
Yeah.
So that means he was literally in there for 18 years.
So he had 2 more years left.
Fucking 18 years of your life, you're just in prison for some bullshit that you probably didn't do.
That's so fucked.
And then they're just like, oh,
and our bad. I would guess he's probably not the only one that's happened to.
I would imagine, dude. He needs to, I don't know. Do you get money from that? I don't know too much about. I was only in criminology for a semester.
If you're like wrongly convicted and you've served time.
Yeah, do you get cash?
Fuck, I hope so.
Yeah, you better get fucking money. I would sue their ass off for that.
But like
18 fucking years for some bullshit that you didn't do?
Did you come out of that? That's going to be such an interesting experience afterwards.
Yeah. But if you
are
did
you,
do it, though.
Are you mad? Are you sad? Do you care?
I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed.
I mean,
I'd be pissed.
At that point, you've had 18 years to dwell on it, right?
Yeah.
Are you really that mad now? I don't know. I don't know.
Hopefully, I'll never have to know.
True.
But yeah, if I will say for poor Martha, like that sucks, and it does suck for her because, well, and her family, because they thought, okay, yeah, we got the guy, and then they're like, wait,
it's not the guy.
So now you have no idea who did it, really, and that's a big bummer.
Yeah, it's a big mystery, a hole.
It is,
right?
It's crazy. I will say, the takeaway from this story though is, like, if you go to a party, you know, again, keep your head on a swivel because you don't know who's all there. You don't know who's. Jake and I are taking massive precautions to make sure that, you know, our parties are safe and things like that. And so far,
everything's gone well because, you know, when we talk about it as a house, we try to have someone. Yeah, we drink, but you be coherent and be aware of who and what is coming into your house.
Yeah. So
that's a big takeaway. And also, you know, people want justice. Right?
Yeah.
So when you think you have the guy, it's going to bring peace to you.
Mm-hmm.
But then you find out that's not the case in this situation. And now you're left wondering.
Yep.
But for potentially forever.
Yeah.
And that can't feel good.
No, that shit sucks. I'm sure that sucks. Moving on. So, 1981. It was a calm Halloween in rural Texas, especially at the local convent. Sisters were all going to sleep before hearing a scream down the hall. They went to investigate and were haunted by a sight that laid before them. It was the body of one of their fellow sisters, Tadia. She lay lifeless and naked. She had been stabbed, assaulted, and strangled. One of the other nuns then made another discovery. A window had been broken in the community room. They called the police, which led them to find her clothes and the murder weapon under her bed. Police arrested Johnny Frank Garrett, who lived across the street. Apparently, a witness had seen him running frantically from the convent to his home. He was convicted and sentenced to death in 1992. His last words were, quote, "I would like to thank my family for loving me and taking care of me. The rest of the world can kiss my ass," end quote.
Interesting.
So he just went over there, killed a nun, and then that was it.
Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass. Kiss his
Merry
ass.
Christmas. No, but that's crazy. What did the nun do?
Just existing.
Yeah, I guess. Dude just broke in and was like, all right. Like, that's so fucking dumb.
Maybe he didn't like her. I don't know. It's just like...
How do you not like a nun?
You know, I don't think you do like nuns. Like, they're nice people.
Some can be like hard asses, but like...
They're just into their religion. They're into their practice. Like, being a nun is dedication.
Oh my God, yeah.
Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna. Yeah.
She's a nun.
Yeah.
And, you know, she spent her whole life working through the church, and doing religion, reading her prayers and all that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, my dad's side of the family was really religious. And she worked so hard, and now she is a nun.
Yeah.
And they take care of you.
They do.
It's actually a really great community.
Yeah, when she took us through her whole...
that house?
The church and stuff or whatever. Dude, I'm not going to... I love, like...
It's really cool.
Gothic style stuff. And that church was, like, super, like, Gothic.
The old one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool. Yeah, I don't know. I love that shit.
from what I've witnessed, I'm not on the inside, but from an outside perspective, is they do take care of them. They seem to love it. That's their final resting place, and they can go and live the end of their life happily.
Yeah, it's true. So, kind of fuck this other dude for taking that away from this nut,
Oh, completely. Like,
crazy.
You just ruined her life, your life, really, too.
Yeah, so you know what, Johnny Frank Garrett? You can kiss my ass. How about that? Anyway. 2004. Friends Leslie, Adrian, and Lauren were at their home in Napa, California. They spent their Halloween in a low-key fashion as they relaxed and handed out candy to trick-or-treaters. As the clock hit 11 p.m., they all decided to turn off the lights and go to bed. But unfortunately, there was one more guest at the girls' home. Leslie awoke to a terrifying scream coming from upstairs. Without hesitation, Leslie stormed out of the house, got in her car, and drove away, leaving her two friends to be stabbed to death upstairs. The intruder was Eric Koppel. He was a friend of one of the two victims, although it wasn't specified which one. And believe it or not, the police had no idea who committed the vicious murders until Eric himself actually admitted to the crime and turned himself in. No motive was ever given, and he is now serving a life sentence in prison. Now, when I was researching this, I did notice some backlash about Leslie's actions when researching. People were saying that she should have stayed and fought or helped her friends in some way. And while, yes, we can all say that we would have done that, being in that situation might actually change your mind.
I completely agree. You can't.
Until you're actually in that situation, you don't know how you'd react.
You want to help people, but also, like, you're trying to survive. Like, it's survival.
I kind of think, for me, I would 100% help because it's because I've been kind of in not like a situation like that, but I've had friends who've gotten in fights and I've had to like run into the fight and be like, hey, yo, like, chill the fuck out. I've had to be like, hey, like, break
Step in.
Yeah. So I can kind of feel like that's my first instinctive reaction is to help my friends.
For sure. But it's a little more.
It's different between
when someone has a weapon. At that point.
Well, I would have my weapon, fucking hatchet to the dome piece. But no, I think it's a little different when. Now, don't come for my head, but I'm a 6'7", 240-pound dude. This is just like a girl. I don't know her height and weight, but I'm, sure I'm probably. So like to me, I feel like it's, girls, dude. I mean,
they survive.
Yeah, you gotta survive.
Final girls, bro.
No, that's seriously. I mean,
this is your mentality. You help, but you probably get killed in the process.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the dumb jock. I'm the dumb jock. That's what it is.
The final girls for a reason, man. It's
all jokes
true. All jokes aside, but like it's unfortunate because you can say all you want about how someone's going to react, but you have to be in that situation to be able to have like a true justified opinion.
Yeah, and I will say, you know what I do think though is. So I have two sisters and, they're like Tatum is, like 6'2", Casey is like 6 foot. So, they're tall girls, but I think like no matter what, a girl should take a self-defense class because this isn't some kind of like, men are better than girls, but girls are smaller and weaker than men. It's more often than not,
more
right?
Biological, yeah.
That's what happens. Mm-hmm. So I think women should it should be a free class or some shit. Like they can just go in and do like a self-defense class because, men, I do think we have the biggest weakness, which is, sitting between our legs. And I think a girl needs to figure out how to fucking enable a man by fucking punching him right in the fucking twigs and berries.
Play it dirty,
Yeah. Well, so the John Wick movie that I was telling you about, the ballerina with Ana de Armas that's coming out, in the trailer that they released, the lady literally says that. She's like, you were going to lose to the assassin. Like you were like smaller, weaker. And then she goes like, you need to cheat and it shows her like kicking the shit out of this dude, like right in his nuts. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, that's how you make like a strong female character in a movie. Because I'm sorry, but like when I'm watching Marvel and I see like Captain Marvel pull up, I'm like, bro, she's just way too OP for like no fucking reason. Like she's just so fucking overpowered. And it's the whole thing is like, oh, I'm a girl and shit. It's like, okay, I get it. But I want to see you like struggle. And then I want you to like fucking push through that shit, you know,
Push
get through it.
fight back.
Yeah. Like the guys, I mean,
they do that with male characters.
They do. So it's like they just make girls. I think they call it the Mary Sue thing, where a girl is just powerful because she's just a girl.
Well, that's why I kind of liked Black Widow, because she kind of got beat down
A lot. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is you see these. Well, I think Scarlet Witch, she's OP as fuck. Like she is really overpowered. However, you know, her powers were given to her by an Infinity Stone, which is super cool. But she went through some shit, like emotionally having to like kill your hubby like fucking twice. Well, you kill him, and then Thanos says, "Nah, bitch, I'm taking this." Like, that's crazy, bro. So I mean, I want to see characters struggle. I don't want characters to just be like, "Oh man, I'm too OP." All right, anyway,
right?
I don't know. This is kind of dumb. So, but my point is, girls,
go get yourself to class.
What?
Self-defense class.
A self-defense class.
I spoke too fast. Go do self-defense, because in the long run, it's going to be very beneficial. You never know when you're going to get put in a weird situation.
It's true, man.
What if, you know, you've maybe an abusive relationship? You can fight back, you can block, you can stop the pain, and you get the fuck out of there.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Or you just are walking on the road and you don't have to be afraid of people coming at you, because you literally could take someone down.
It's true.
I think it's very important.
Yeah. All right. We got 2 left. So this one's kind of short, but
short and sweet.
This is the one I was kind of teasing earlier, but this one didn't occur on Halloween, rather 4 days before it. But I still wanted to include it because it's pretty wild. So in the town of Frederica, Delaware, a woman's body was mistaken for a Halloween decoration. Apparently, the woman, who was 42 years old, hung herself outside of her home. Passerbys, neighbors, and even cops all drove by her hanging body as they believed it was just a prank or a decoration for the holiday, only to discover hours later that it wasn't.
It's like similar to that teacher.
Yeah. But like, this one was she actually killed herself, and she did it like publicly. Right. But people drove by and they were just,
I mean, you drive by and you go, oh shit, that's a realistic looking prop.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. That house went hard.
Yeah.
And then you keep driving.
Yeah.
You know,
you kind of like when Halloween comes by, we look at the houses that like almost take things too far, and you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, yeah, that's a fucking sick hunt. Like that's a sick house, you know? But yeah, so it's pretty fucked up.
That is like, you just never know.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and jump to this next one. This is the last one. This is definitely the wildest one. Also the saddest one. Well, I guess I can't really say it, but I mean it's pretty sad.
That's subjective.
It is subjective, but it's pretty heavy. I personally think it's the saddest one, but it's some crazy shit. So this is 2014. God, 2014 was 10 years ago.
God, I know.
Holy shit.
I graduated high school then.
Oh my God. I was a fucking sophomore.
They just had the reunion for 10 years, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm a pass.
All right. So some of you may be familiar with this, but it really is truly something out of a horror movie. So in Long Island, Derek Ward, 35, lived with his mother, Patricia, who was 66. Derek had a troubled past. He dealt with mental health issues, and he actually did have a criminal history. He was arrested on multiple occasions for criminal mischief, drug and weapon possession, and he did time for those too. But Derek was never a violent person. Prior to this day, he had recently gotten out of a psychiatric hospital and was feeling more upbeat. But he learned about the passing of his grandpa, and he started to spiral. Then came this fateful day. People of Long Island were going about their business when they saw a man dragging something out from his home. It looked like a headless body being dragged behind him, and the head of the body was in the other hand. He threw them both on the street, making people believe it was a Halloween prank. Well, sadly, it wasn't. It was the headless body of his mom, Patricia. He then ran about 1,000 feet away from the body and proceeded to throw himself into an oncoming train. While this story is truly chilling, it is another reminder to seek help if you are going through things mentally. There is help available, and no matter how hard your life is, it can always get better. But forcing your pain onto someone else is the last thing that you should do. So that's crazy.
That is heavy.
The thing that I think is really the reason why I said I think this is the saddest one is because, you know, I've been through some mental health issues for sure, but I never once thought, let me take it out on my fucking parents or anybody for that matter, because it's my pain and it's something that I have to learn how to deal with. Right. Mm-hmm. And you have to figure that shit out. But I think when people take their mental health out on other people, it's horrible, because there's people who don't
deserve
it. And just because you feel like you're wronged by the world or whatever it is,
go talk to someone about it.
You need to figure your own shit out. That's the harsh reality, is you have to figure your own shit out. You can get help to do it, but if you're going to kill yourself, well, first don't. Like, really, please don't. It's not worth it.
It's once again selfish.
It is selfish. It's selfish, man.
I get people go through tough times in their life, but there's so much more to life that you can experience if you get the help you need. Talk to people, ask for help too, right? That's the biggest thing.
So this is gonna be heavy, but I almost did it once. I was in high school, and I don't know, I was driving home, and I just thought to myself, I was like, you know, I'm just like, it felt like my mind took like a backseat. You know, like it felt like I wasn't in control of my body, my thoughts, and things like that, and I was just watching myself. It was like the weirdest feeling, but it literally was like I was just going to move my steering wheel just like a tiny little bit, like hit a tree or some shit. And so that was fucked up for sure. But I finally was able to pull off to the other side of the road. And I sat there, my hands were shaking and stuff. And I called my mom, and she was like, hey, she could tell something was off. She was like, oh, just come home. We have pizza here. Like, there's, sports are on. And I was like, I know. I'm on my way. I'm coming. And then I called a friend from high school, and I didn't think she'd pick up, but she did. So that was cool. And then she actually talked me through it a little bit. And long story short, I'm here. So I'm happy that I didn't make that choice, because I've been through so much more like shit after that. Like, I thought that what I was going through like back then was bad. It's like, hell no, like shit just gets worse. But the point is, you always get through it. Mm-hmm. As long as you keep trying, you do always get through it. Time passes, time heals all time. So it's just, I don't know. My point is, if you're thinking about it, just don't do it. It's really not worth it. You will have better experiences in life. You'll have better, friendships and things like that. And
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no, 100%. But life is tough. It's
I
not
will
easy.
say, if you are going to do it though, don't fucking take anybody else with you, because they don't deserve that shit.
Oh, 100%.
See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to say.
Well, like when, mass shooters kill a bunch of people and then kill themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, what was the point of that?
Literally.
Do not harm other people for
there's
things like
no
that. There's
fucking point, dude.
Yeah, I know. I've had a couple people in my life commit suicide around me, and also a couple people OD. Luckily, a couple survived the OD after getting the help, but like, you just need to ask for help. Like, that's like a big thing, and I think that's scary for a lot of people.
It is. Well, you kind of
you feel really like vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right. And it kind of embarrassed.
Well, like I said earlier, I used to wear my heart on my sleeve. I would talk about stuff with anybody. And then it kind of became like when people, they take your stories and they twist them, or they take, your trust and pretty much just, throw it away. That's when you kind of start to kind of lock everything down. You kind of shut yourself off from a lot of people. And then that's when I think things get dangerous, because you start to think
You're
about
already isolated, right?
Yeah.
At that point.
But that's why you have to learn how to love yourself,
Love yourself.
Yep.
Key takeaway.
Love yourself, everybody. It's a big, big deal. What are we at?
An hour and 10.
Oh, cool.
God, fucking like. Anyway,
so this has been a Halloween episode followed by some tangents.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for listening to all these stories and some real experiences through our lives and just kind of our thoughts,
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will say, if you like the kind of the more life talk as well, kind of the relatability to some of these stories, then, let us know. We can keep doing that. And,
because we do have experiences.
We do. I feel like we have a lot of experiences, and
we've kind of brushed over them briefly, maybe, but like there's so much more about us that we can share to you and like give you those, along with some, lighthearted horror as well.
But I will say, if you like the idea of us kind of talking about our own experiences that kind of relate to these stories, then, let us know. Otherwise, we'll just read the stories and then move on. But I think that it is nice to have relatability. And if you guys can relate to any of the stuff that we've been talking about, then that's big. So,
yeah. Well, thanks again, guys. This has been another great episode of The Supernaturals.
We'll see you next week for Halloween rituals, baby.
We'll see you around the graveyard, bitch.
Oh, God.
Thanks for listening to this chilling episode of The Supernaturals. For your protection, make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And stay tuned for the next episode.